Hey guys, it's West here, and we're back with another episode of From the Crumbs. Today we have plenty of stuff to share with you guys. I talked before about making Pungbaek, and he's all built up and ready to go. Super excited about him. I didn't realize how long it had been since like a real update video till I checked my channel today, and I was looking through all my different series, and there's plenty of series that I need to make videos on. And so I thought I'd go ahead and I would start with this one because this is a good place to come back to. This is a good account to really make a video for. I mean, it has been over a month now. And in that month, a lot of stuff has happened. I farmed a lot of runes, and free rune removal came around, and this is what I did. I put my very best Fatal Blade runes on Pungbaek, 100% crit rate, 180% crit damage, roughly 240% attack, plus 240%, maybe plus 250% attack if you're curious about the stats in percentages to know how they would equate to other units. But here's what my Pungbaek looks like. He's my replacement Lucian. He's not skilled up all the way yet. You can see he's missing a lot of damage on his third skill. He's missing 10% damage and cooldown. He's missing harmful effect rate and damage on his first skill. But the most important thing is that third skill, because for those of you who don't know, he nukes down the first monster, and whatever he does to the first monster, he's going to do half of that as AoE ignore defense to the rest of the monsters, and if he kills the first monster, that damage is increased by 30%. So, pretty sizable amount of damage. Essentially, what, 65% of the damage that he does to the first monster will be dealt to all the other monsters, after all the math calculation, I believe. So if you kill the first monster, you can do a crazy AoE nuke. The AoE nuke is not counted as a crit, it's counted as flat ignore defense damage. You could relate that to Molong, you could relate that to Ramagod. If you want some way to think about it in your head is how the damage is applied. So it goes right through Camilla's. You ignore Camilla's passive because it's not considered to be a crit. So you can fly right through Camilla's. Because it doesn't count as an actual hit, and it counts, like I said, similar to Molong, similar to, Icarus, similar to Ramagas, similar to all those units that have that ignore defense-based flat amount of damage. This also kills fire units because it doesn't have to go through that crit or glance check, so it just goes right through. So it takes out a lot of things Lucian might have some trouble with. However, a big issue with my team right now is Pungbaek's speed. He's very, very slow. At plus 42 speed, he's not anywhere near speed tuned to my 220 speed Galleon, so he's far too slow. I want to get him like 40 or 50 more speed, but here's his runes, since I know some people are going to be curious about that. The best rune on him by far is this one, speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack. This is a purple 6-star rune. It went max roll crit rate, 1 less than max roll crit damage, 2 less than max roll attack, or it went 6 crit rate, 6 into crit damage, and then 6 into attack, which is crazy. 666. It's the rune of the devil. And then on top of that, it rolled 6 speed, and then I grinded attack and speed with some grinds that I had. We got this rune right here, pretty decent. I had actually enchanted crit damage onto here and was lucky enough to get a max roll into crit damage on the enchant that I put on him, which was cool. This rune's not going to get too much better in terms of damage besides maybe a flat attack, but I don't know if I'll do that. I might do that because this will probably be usable in the future too, for at least for a long time. It's a really nice rune. It's a purple rune that rolled double speed and then 1 into crit rate. This rune's pretty good, a lot of crit rate, crit damage. Accuracy's a little bonus. I kind of wish the speed wasn't inbuilt though. You're going to see that on a few of these runes. This next rune, attack, is inbuilt, which is awesome because it's 8%, but at the same time it sucks because it can't be enchanted over with a higher attack percentage roll and then grinded to like a 20% attack or anything like that, which again is like, that's kind of a bummer, but it does the job, and all the other stats are good, you know, speed, crit rate. Also that accuracy helps out a little bit. Here we've got plenty of attack, crit rate, and then we got crit damage. Here I could just enchant out the speed resistance for speed, and this will be usable for a long time. The biggest rune though, however, that we can improve is this slot 6. This slot 6 does almost nothing for us besides this 10% crit rate, which I think just barely brings us to, yeah, we have exactly 100% crit rate on this build. It could not be more perfect in terms of the crit rate, crit damage ratios, I guess. So I'm really happy with his damage output. I would just like him to be like plus 40 more speed, which I believe we can do by eventually swapping this rune out for a rune that also has speed in it, or at least a rune with equivalent crit rate and crit damage that doesn't have inbuilt speed. You know, swapping out or enchanting over and grinding this rune, and then completely replacing this rune with a better quality rune. However, for where I'm at in the game, I'm pretty happy with what he looks like right now. He's almost there, almost where I want him to be. And in Arena, he kills most things. So his damage output on most units or on most targets that I'm gonna hit. So the Chisuns I know are squishy, and I know they're squishy because if I go in with a Chi Wu and strip the shield or hit through it and I see extra damage or a higher damage number and less of the HP bar move, then I know they have more HP and less defense, so I could target that monster. But for most averagely tanky monsters that I come up against, and I mean around 1,000 to 1,200 defense, I hit around 45k on the first hit, and if I kill, I ignore defense 30 to 32k damage to the rest of the team. So I can take out the squishier HP crit damage HP or speed HP Rakans. I can take out Camillas in most cases. Most cases Camillas don't have above 30k HP, or at least where I'm at right now, which is late into Fighter or Fighter 3, Conqueror 1 area. So I don't really have to worry about that much. So other things on my account, of course I did have to steal a rune from the Boomerang Warrior on the slot 3, so she lost some crit damage and a little bit of accuracy, but she did gain a lot more crit rate, which was kind of nice, because 90% crit rate in some areas of the game is cool. I did have to unrune Zhao Lin for this, which means her slot 1 and slot 4 are gone, which means I can't really do raids right now, or at least not the typical raid team. Now, if I log on to Ghetto Sith Lord's account and I go ahead and I raid using his two teams, his placement and additional placement, and my team, I could actually run the twins with the camp that I use. They survive just long enough to eke out enough damage to take down the boss, and I don't know if I could do that with any public team, and I know most public people wouldn't want to even attempt that. They'd be like, you're crazy, dude, and stupid. I'm not trying to waste my energy on you. So I mostly just raid with Ghetto if I raid. That way I can also help his account progress as well. So for consistency purposes, I may do that. However, I'm not really concerned about enchants and grinds as much as I am concerned about reappraisal stones right now, which leads me into kind of what's coming for the future. I haven't really talked too much about the Rift Beasts. I know I've done them in the past, and I've gone through the team I used, I believe, before the Fire Rift Beast and all that kind of stuff. But the big thing now is I get between 2 and 3 legendary 6-star runes per day, which on average it's not too bad. Some days I get a lot more, some days I get fewer, but for the most part it's like 2 or 3. Today I've gotten like 5 maybe 6 6-star legendary runes, which is pushing me even further to go into this. But I want to make a water, wind, or an ice, fire, and wind team so that I can go ahead and start farming for these reappraisal stones. You'll see a huge difference in the ones that I have, of course. I farmed all these frozen water crystals back when I had my all-wind GB10 team. Some of you may remember that, but I was able to get up to like 500 just from when I had the GB10 team. And I was farming raid for some event, or I had to farm Rift Beast for some event. So I went ahead and I farmed just that water place, and I was getting consistent double S with my old Giants B10 team, which was not this actually. I might still be able to do this, but that's what I was using for the water team. This is what I'm using for the fire team, because I have a defense built Megan, speed defense. She could take a bunch of damage, which reduces the amount of damage the water twins take even further. It's a decently consistent team. Sometimes it gets dicey because my only AoE is Poseidon. Now switching out Stella for a Lapis would make it more consistent, but lower my ranking down to about 3.8 million damage. So I don't know. I might end up doing that, but I'm going to be building a series of different units for those areas because reappraisals has to become a higher priority on my account. I know there's these packages. You guys are going to tell me there's these packages there. Reapstone packages are like a good deal, I guess, if you're pay to win and you have a lot of legendary 6-star runes, or you buy a lot of rune packs as well. So maybe in the future, when I have a little bit more income coming in, I might start thinking about reappraisal stones, just because I guess it buys you time. Rather than getting 3 a week, you could essentially get 50. Now I'm not going to go that crazy, $300 on just reappraisals. I'd rather split it up between rune packages and reaps, but I'm not going completely pay to win. I'm just trying to think about my progression and how fast I can progress even further. So that's what I'm worrying about right now. The units that I plan on building, the Water Dice Magician, I was looking at him just because his utility and his kit, the built-in additional turn chances, and the built-in ignored defense chances in his kit, which is RNG based, but I did the math for a really mediocre Fatal Blade set on him, the kind of damage output I'd be looking at for the Fire Beast. And because he has 2 AoEs and the chances to get additional turns built into his kit, putting him on a Fatal Blade set would be probably good enough, just because he would always have his skills up, especially when I scale him up, which I will be doing eventually. The Wind Dice Magician Hall of Heroes just came out, and this is the guy who's going to be eating up all those skill ups. So that's probably who I'm going to 6-star next, just because I'm really trying to get those teams worked in together. I guess I could hypothetically build double Tark for it. I know that double Tark Lapis can do pretty well because you have a lot of single target nuke from the Tarks, and because you can constantly get those AoEs with their team up skill. So even if Lapis can't AoE kill them, which she can most of the time with her 3rd skill, she will, if she crits, kill them even without attack buff, because you only need to do a few thousand damage to kill those little AoE crystals, or those crystals that'll kill your team. And I guess I could pair them up with Lapis and potentially do that. However, I don't know. I'm going to try to min-max as much as possible and use as many new units, or as many units that I already have, as I possibly can without having to 6-star too many things that I don't want to. However, Reno's something I do want to 6-star eventually anyways, just because he's a really fun unit for Guild Wars and Guild Siege. So I may end up building him anyways. Along the way, I'm probably going to have to end up building Huahi and Brandia, and this is going to be for the Wind Beast? Yes, for the Wind Beast. This is the beast that needs healing, so you constantly need to heal up in order to not die. So there are some units that I have in mind. Hraesvelg's amazing there because the self-heal, the brand, the attack speed, and attack buff. So Hraesvelg's a must-have in that team, or at least for my team, I'm going to have him in there. I'm going to have Chasun in there for a frontline healer and attack buffer. So I have a whole bunch of stuff I have in mind for a few of those teams, but I just thought I'd let you know, guys, about what I've been working on. Here's a quick look at my current state of pieces for the Light Ifrit Elsharion. I'm 45 pieces away. I know most people are like 30 or 20 pieces away. Most people are really close. This next event that comes out is going to be enough to give everybody who's done every single event so far Elsharion. Hopefully me, if the event gives you 45 or 50 pieces, I really, really hope I'll be able to get him, because I want to get him as fast as possible. But we're almost there to this guy. I'm 100% going to be building him when he comes out. The Light Ifrit will take place of Vero in my Dragons B10 team. Dragons B10 team hasn't changed. The same old team. Vertihill Galleon, Water Twins, and Vero. And that will become Vertihill Galleon, Water Twins, and Elsharion, because Elsharion can steal the immunity, essentially doing the cleanse, except not having to worry about getting that turn every turn, because once the immunity's on, the units will have the immunity for as long as they need it for, because I believe the Dragons B10 immunity is 3 turns. That's crazy. Yeah, that's way more than enough, because we won't lap the boss 3 times with the speed of our units. I can essentially take out Vertihill. I haven't talked about this too much, but this is something I've been trying to do for a while, and that's phase out Vertihill, because although I love Vertihill and he makes my team consistent by giving me the turn advantage, Vertihill also takes away consistency by you not being able to perfectly speed tune your team, because it's unpredictable whether Vertihill will be using his 1st or 2nd skill, and trying to speed your entire team around something like that, something that's going to happen as often as his 1st or 2nd skill, is huge. So it's really hard to do, and really hard for consistency's sake to do that. So I'm going to have Elsharion in there, and we'll just pretend that Veromos is Elsharion, and Elsharion would be the leader, which is the 33% attack lead that he has, which is really, really nice. I believe that's a universal attack lead. And then in our final slot, we could kind of put in whatever damage dealer we want to have a lot of damage. Now I haven't really decided who I want in that slot yet. I've thought about building Huahi for that slot as an attack buffer. I've thought about Kali in that slot, and then taking out Galleon for another nuker, since soon the Boomerang Warrior will get skill up. Someday she'll get skill ups, and she has 2 chances to defense break, and she lands it pretty reliably because of all the turns she gets in order to attempt to land it. But I could probably end up doing that and end up with a more efficiently speed tuned team, so that I can consistently predict what my units are going to do. This is a whole bunch of theory crafting I've been doing. It's one of the main reasons I'm excited about Elsharion is because he provides the ability to have this really consistent, really fast, and really predictable Dragons B10 team. So I can't wait till he comes out because I know a lot of people are excited about him for RTA purposes, but I want to play around with him in every single PvE area in the game, except for maybe raids. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and I ruined up Eladriel. Speed, defense, HP, and violent. Really mediocre runes. 40% resistance. A little bit of accuracy for the potential to strip. He's not that fast, but he's only 5-star right now. And when he's 6-starred and in Guild Wars he's max skilled, I can play around with some Guild War offenses and maybe use him to either tank or revive in a scenario where I know my unit is going to get killed. So that's about it. Dupe Eladriel, I guess. It's not really anything to announce. Oh, and I've been fusing Veramoses. I've been fusing Veros because I'm going to use Veros and my extra Emirs in order to skill up Elsharion and 6-star him on the spot. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll make sure to get back as quickly as I can. I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.